Hello again, it's time for another dyno. This time it's a CITROEN BX for a change. This is not my BX, but this is a BX that's featured on this channel before. A few months ago there was a video, best entry level CITROEN if you want the hydropneumatic suspension. This one. But this one has come back like a boomerang. Why has it come back? It wants to go at the board. Now normally I would be like, well, you can't just have a go at the board, you have to be carefully selected. However, there's reasons why this one wants to come back. You see, if you look under the bonnet, which you can't because you're over there, but if you could, you'd see it has a TU engine. And, as any fool know, TU engines do amazingly on here. Dump it. 70 horsepower, should have 60. A Saxo up here, which should have 120, has 128. Another Saxo that isn't on here, but you'll have to take my word for it, had 99 when it was supposed to have 90. A 205 1.1 had 63 or 4 and it was supposed to have 55. And so on. TU engines, with the exception of a 106 Rally that I had once, a Series 1 Rally, they all better, or they at least equal or smash their book figures. So, will this be the same? Seeing as this is the coolest car a TU engine's ever been put in. Isn't it? Well, we'll find out. So this is a BX14RE. That means it is, well, kind of bottom of the range, but not. Different versions of BXs have different amounts of power. This particular car, 1.4 litre, TU3 engine, 1360cc. Basically the same engine you get in an AX GT or a 205 XS. But those are 85 horsepower because they have a slightly area camshaft, mildly, but slightly area camshaft. They have a slightly more, I was going to say less restrictive, but they have a slightly more forceful carburetor, and they're designed to make a bit more power, 85 horsepower. This particular engine also used in many other cars as well as that. ZX 1.4, 309 1.4, I think the 1.4 had it. It's in many cars, many cars. And in those cars, normally the book figure's 75, but in this instance, 72. I don't quite know why. Is it because they did something to this engine years down the line that gave it more power, or were they lying even more back then? So is it going to be in the 80s? Is it going to beat Bella the Berlingo? Bella the Berlingo is a hub nut vehicle, first thing to remember. A 2-litre turbo diesel that only made 77 horsepower. Will a 1.4-litre carburetor-fed Billy Basic BX have more power than a 2-litre turbo diesel, common rail, fuel, high-pressure fuel-injected modern vehicle such as Bella the Berlingo? At the same time, it would be really funny if it had less power than Dump It. Let's run it. Let's find out. I think there's a chance Hubnut might get away with this. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so it was squirrely on the graph when I was actually doing it, but it hasn't translated here. So what have we got? 73.9 horsepower, so it has increased. Well, it's supposed to be 72. So it's nearly gained 2 horsepower. At 73.9 horsepower at 5,390 RPM, 88 pound-feet of torque at 3,800 RPM. That's impressive. And the gearing, now this is very impressive. 225 pound-foot at the wheels in 4th gear. Now that is interesting. It's interesting because I had on here just now an Austin Allegro, which is not related to this, but the Austin Allegro was a 1300, a 1275cc, book figure £69 foot, Okay, 69 pound-foot of torque at the flywheel. This car, book figure, 78 pound-foot of torque, so 9 pound-foot difference. Doesn't sound much, does it? But in fourth gear, the Allegro was putting out 175 at the wheels, and this was 225. So that is an example of how numbers, book figures for an engine, do not always translate to how the car actually goes on the road. This feels a lot quicker than the Allegro did, and it should, because it's got nearly over 40 horse or 40 pound-foot of torque more at the wheels in fourth gear, because this has got shorter gearing, because it has 5 gears. The Allegro is 4 longer gears, which kills the performance. So that's the real world. The torque at the wheel number is the real number. But yeah, I think, oh, it's not going to beat, no, we're not worried about that, are we? It's going to knock Dump It out. It has beaten Dump It. Let's give it another go and see if it can do a bit more. Have a look at the back, see if it smokes for me. Right, here we go. I'll wait for the back end to go back up. Dyno's biting. Right. I don't think it's improved, but we'll see. No. Oh, and it's gone squirrely. I think it's actually getting a bit hot. Yeah, it's losing torque. I think it's actually getting a bit of heat soak. 73.2, so it's done 73.9 and then 73.2. So its score is 73. I'm just letting it cool down. I might do one more when the guy comes back. And if it does better, I'll film it and we'll include that one, but I don't think it will. I think 73 is this car's score. It's only 3 horsepower more than Dump It. Look, there's Dump It. Laughing. But Dump It shouldn't laugh because that car's supposed to have 72. So it's made more, it's 1 more horse than it's supposed to have on 2 runs with 116,000 miles on it. That's a win. I mean, it's not a Dump It win, admittedly, but it's a win. So, to the board. Right, BX 14RE 73 BHP, which is +1. Made a right arse of that, but it doesn't matter because all these cards are going to get updated soon. Some argue and say that I'm only doing this to like beat Hubnut and push him further and further down the list, and that's very unfair. Might be some element of truth in it, but it's very unfair. So I can't put this in yet because these are all stuck down and I'm going to make a new board with magnets and stuff. So until I do, it kind of goes here because it's actually between Dump It and Audrey. That BX has found itself between a 1.1 litre Peugeot 106 and a 2 litre Citroen not a DS. I wouldn't say that's going to rip any trees out of the ground. That's not amazing, but that's exactly what it's meant to do. It's absolutely nailed it. It's not going to absolutely blow us away. But that said, I've done an AX GT before, which did similar things. Made 87, was supposed to make 85. Similar kind of gains. But that had done 250,000 miles. So I can only assume that when this BX has done 250,000 miles, it'll still be doing 73 horsepower. That's a win. You were here, you can vouch for that.
I can 100% confirm.
So I've had to move the cards around. It's not here. It's here. It's beat Audrey. I'm just saying, look, 75.